You pre-put in the names, so now you can see that the graphic will begin to populate.
Yeah, look at this, guys. Bang. I'm pressing buttons.
Well done.
Thanks, dude. I think if I just do it nice and slowly and really calm, it's all good. So there's all your picks coming through. Boom. It's on your screen. Bada bing, bada boom. Right now,
sick, yeah.
I mean, Revival did go for the Yamato ban, like I thought they would. Paradox once again banned from 789, so feels like teams are really hating on Paradox right now. She's quite strong. I'm curious about the Vindicta pick, but I'm really curious about the Ivy pick from Revival, because apparently Gun Ivy is hella strong. McGivey, yeah, McGivey. McGivey's hella good right now. So I'm excited to see that one come through. Yeah, in the meantime, just waiting for a couple of players to jump into the lobby. But we can now talk about this draft a little bit, because Viscous back once again for Revival, which means that the guys are on 789 likely on another point of we're going to have to pick players off. They have a super defensive team. There's Revival with Viscous, Ivy, Geist, Infernus, Mirage. So yeah, it will be up to 789 to find those openings around the map, essentially.
Yeah, a lot of free clear here. You know, good sort of synergies as well in terms of being able to keep each other healed up. You actually have a lot of sustain out of the picks they've got here amongst one another.
Yeah.
So potential for some favour in the fights. A little bit of healing capabilities available as well for 789. So we'll see. We'll see how the cookie crumbles really once we get into it on this one. Form was looking good for him. You know, first game obviously had a bit of a bumpy start. If anything, I think it was more it just looked like you were struggling to get into the early game. Some of the denies that we were seeing were really giving the Haze and the other team so much more freedom, basically. You know, a bit cleaner on the early laning phase, then who knows, mate? Things could be smooth sailing, because mid-game they looked really sort of synergized. Teamwork was good. They were taking fights that were relatively smart. Yeah, you brought it back. I mean, that was at a deficit as well, where it wasn't exactly the best game for all six fingers on one hand. You know, there was some struggles there in a few of the lanes, but certainly brought it back. So good resilience. What have they got versus Revival? Obviously, that's the question now.
Yeah, I mean, Revival's actually quite a good team, honestly, and a team that I'm excited to watch and play. It's, you know, it's really fun. It's really fun getting to watch Goober 70 on the Viscous as well. This man kind of popularized melee charge cancelling, created a really cool video on it as well. And I could drop a little asset in there, but for the time being, we're barreled up in this game, and we'll search for a fix in the meantime, I guess.
So are they. Look, everyone's hugging barrels, man.
It's the way to be.
One of those days.
It's all about the barrel cess.
Yeah. Do you know you can pay $16.99 to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel?
That's pretty cheap. Yeah. Why in pounds, though?
Because it's not real.
Yeah, have you lied?
I've lied. Yeah.
You've lied to me. Why would you do such a thing? Yeah, that's right.
Keeping you on your toes, bro. You're going to make sure.
That's good, actually. I appreciate that. You know, 11:30 in the night time.
I don't
keep me wide awake.
Start falling for fake news. Start clicking on phishing links. You know what I mean? I've got to keep you switched on. Like,
yeah, that's reasonable. I respect that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nice and elastic.
Yeah, you're a nice guy. That's very kind. But very much needed. Goober and Grave on your screens at the moment, getting somewhat demolished in lane. This is pretty cruel at the moment. Q-Cube likely to be incorporated early. Restorative shot already picked up as well for Grave. And I mean, respectable maneuver, honestly, in a lane like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting absolutely spanked early as well, so he needed some kind of sustain to get himself top back up, basically. He's very lucky, almost, as well, with the getaway. It felt like he was a couple inches away from the 7 actually being able to take him out with the old electrosphere. But not this time. So, early game. As much as it makes it a bit worse for wear, and you're certainly a lot more squishy, you're still alive and don't go down early and concede the actual kill. That's the worrying part. Shiv again trying his luck as well. It's going to be Rundus, who looks to take first contact versus the Abrams, puts a bit of pressure on. Got the backup with the IV as well. quick heal from the old Candle Trooper.
Yeah, I think the curious thing here as well is that for the Dynamo 7 lane, like, it's not actually that bad for the Mirage and the Viscous. Like, in terms of souls, even though they had that poor start, they're back up to full HP on both of them. They managed to actually stay ahead in souls, so it was like a lot of that early game poke coming through from 789, but didn't really go too far for revival. And they have to just bring things back online here into the punch as well off the back of the splatter. Nasty stuff.
A big old fist. Lovely.
It's got to be done sometimes.
Yeah, mate. Do you ever enjoy a nice bit of jelly? You know, in the fridge.
I don't partake.
You've never had jelly.
I have.
Yeah.
In the past, but I don't partake now. Yeah.
Not a fan anymore. No.
No. Maybe in like a nice trifle.
Have you made your own? You know, since being an adult, having autonomy, have you made your own jelly?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe that's the problem. You've misjudged jelly.
Right, because it's not been made by my own fair hand.
Yeah, exactly. If you were the one putting it all together,
maybe I'd appreciate it more.
I made gummy
I don't know.
bears once.
Oh, yeah?
Not really jelly, but in fact, actually quite far removed from the jelly family at all. It's closer to being the gummy family, really, isn't it? Which
There's gelatin in it, I guess.
Yeah, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
Well, first kill goes through over towards the Lash here in Solar Hound. It does go down to the Geist, who is on 3k right now to Solar Hound's 1.8. So they are massively denying that Lash. Even taking the poor man's tier 1 camp as well. That is cruelty. So 3.2 right now to the 1.8. Actually not a bad lane matchup either, is the Geist into the Lash, because she doesn't really care if you get too far in her face, because she can always drop the lifesteal and then just a quick essence bomb on top of you. So I think for Lash, it's kind of hard to make do with that fight. So again, likely going to be more of this mid-game push for Solar Hound, but he is so far behind at this point in time that by the time he gets to roam at 3k, a lot of these other lanes are already going to be in good stead.
Set up on top of the roof. I was wondering if the Infernus was going to try and make a play off the back of this, but it doesn't really want to overcommit. Oh, talking of overcommitting, it does get a little bit dicey here. Grave again, forced to scatter basically off the back of the damage done to him. Do lose the Vindicta. Snapped down by a fickle frog. That's Ivy getting an opportunity to play off the back of Rundus. They've been doing together on Greenwich and being able to go quite deep on it. Veil round to the side, you're low. Knock-up could be problematic, and the backup's there with Maxicor. Just running it in with support. Cash onto one. That's the Ivy taken down. Potentially the Cash with the seismic impact as well around the corner. Near miss. And he slipped away.
He's back. He's farming. What's he do? He's getting some more. I respect that, you know. I respect that more than anything. Like, he knows he's going down. So why not pick up some souls while he's at it? You know, that's min-maxing to its biggest potential. Like, give me a sec, guys. This Candle Trooper, you just called me out. But yeah, so for 789, that's not bad. It looked pretty horrible for 789. They were down around about 6-7k, and that has been reduced to a measly 2 in a matter of moments. You know what? Eric Pritz was looking kind of tasty in those moments. Some good shoulder charges. And again, it is something I wanted to talk about earlier, which was the stake into shoulder charge is really nice, especially increasing the duration on stake back up from 1.75 to 2 seconds. That gives you a whole bunch of time, especially in lane, duoed with an Abrams, to pick up one of those nasty shoulder charges coming through.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Massive shoulders, but he's always in the gym. Every day, training those bad boys. Traps on traps. It's kind of madness. But yeah, good response back into it for 789 as well. You know, you kind of want to shake off past mistakes, come back out fresh, and it's good to see the play's looking pretty damn good so far. Opportunity again for Eric to show some of the skill here. Engage off the puddle punch into the knock-up. HP's taking a bit of a hit, but Grave does pay the ultimate price. He's down, removed from the equation. Rundus as well. Slice and dice for the escape. Hard commits for the getaway. He's got back up with the Ivy. So they actually do find a safe passage, basically, and they can turn it around. Infernus even getting stuck back in on the pocket. So a 2-for-0 trade back with objectives even being cleaned up. Oh, it's getting really quite messy now.
Yeah, Goober going kind of crazy actually during that fight. I think that was the biggest deal for them, was the fact that he was able to keep his teammate alive for so long with a Goo Cube into a preemptive punch as well. Provide all the time in the world for the rest of Revival to come in and help out. So again, now we're up 6k on the side of Revival, which is very, very good stuff. Kyo though looking pretty dangerous. 7k total on the side of the Vindicta. Can start to get away with things, but if she's the only character that's kind of fed on the side of 789, there is a lot of options that you can build into to really cut down on that approach. I mean, knockdowns, slowing hexes, a little bit more expensive these days considering builds out of Enduring Spirit, so yeah, a little bit tougher.
So roughly about a 5k soul lead then. And you have at least been able to take a bit of space towards blue and all the way around towards Parkside as well. So purple also resulting in 2 of the initial Guardians being taken down. And it's not too bad. I mean, Revival certainly coming out and showing that they mean business at the minute. Dive in from the pocket. Pops the Affliction as well. It puts the dot back onto the Infernus. You can't just freely push up on this one, so will at least be the reset back on the lane. And this has been problematic again and again. The IV and the Shift that just keep doubling up and being able to take free chip damage. They want to get the confirm off at least onto Guardian at this point. Dump a whole load of damage. Engage over the top road though. In comes Eric. Ooh, thrown in with the backup of the puddle punch as well. Getting a ton of damage out, but can't quite commit off the back of it. Oh, goes down to the Viscous, and it really is starting to become really a bit of a hellscape now.
It's nice to see. Again, this is why I was really excited to watch Goober, because you see a massive difference already between this kind of Viscous play and more of a supportive one on that last match. He just has so much control using that puddle punch to his advantage to create scenarios where Eric Pritz tries to get in, and now he's back again versus Adrian. That's a massive amount of damage into the heavy melee cancel on the Goo Ball. This is the thing. You could absolutely tell when a team asks a Viscous to play Viscous and a guy that just plays Viscous who so happens to be on the squad. And that is Goober TV in a nutshell. Really, really well played. It's nice to see.
Viscosity is looking especially thick today. Really, really quite thick. And that's what you want, mate. This is good as well, you know, it bridges that gap even further, right? You go from sort of 5k souls ahead to where now you're starting to mount the pressure on and seeing just how far you can take it. What sort of malarkey they're going to be able to get up to in lane. 12k basically being in the back pocket, and free farming starting to happen as well. Take the crates, take the camps, and make the most of everything you can. Revival even running the urn with Rundus having that one on the back. So this is starting to snowball a little bit for them. They do dash it down though, and instead focus on an opportunity to once again scrap. It was Eric that was relatively deep. Burns his stamina to get back. Has he found himself safety? That's the question. IV engages with a stone form, traps him on escape, and they just dump the damage. Nothing that can be done.
Yeah, again, I think for the lads over on Revival, it's a smart choice to just keep running this urn, even to the point where it just despawns. Even if they're not able to get it over towards the side of 789, sort of taking out of play is the goal here. It's the one thing that can swing so hard for 789 is they would really like to get an urn run in. Slightly dangerous where the guys from Revival are taking it, but just making sure it's always on the move. I don't think they've got too many intentions of placing this in unless they're able to find a couple of pickoffs on the side of 789. And there's Adriano caught out by the tornado strike and is just about able to hit the flying cloak just at the end there. Ooh, it looks spicy.
A little bit of spice. Paprika on top of the product. Straight back to basics, though. Quick pop in for the farm Revival, seeing what they can grab. Meanwhile, the urn's on the move. His little froggy legs sprinting down. So quick these days as well.
Yeah, you got to catch up to him, and luckily Infernus with a quick step will catch it and then take it all the way back into warehouses. A reasonable maneuver from them. Uber TV just continuing to farm up here. Again, not able to find too much, but they are just allowing the rest of the team to get pretty looted here. Just picking up all the souls as much as possible. They're box maxing right now as well, Jackie. They're going crazy with it. And again, you can definitely tell the difference. I mean, Eric Pritz as well as Adriano, both on 8k souls. It's not looking too awesome right now. It's Dartien who is really using the capabilities of 7 to keep that soul count pretty high. But yeah, this is just where they have so much presence on the map that they can extend this soul lead so much. 14k already is pretty nuts. And honestly, for the guys on Revival, feels like they're just gearing up for some kind of fight in the future.
You never know when the Hidden Blade's going to strike, but you got to be ready for it. Ooh, they might want to plunge in the knife ahead of time here. They tried to swoop. You had the quick group up, so the heads-up call was there. But thankfully, at least for the Revival players, they were able to reposition just in the nick of time. So Shiv and Co back off and reset. Infighting could occur soon, though. Greenwich is looking fairly aggressive. Deep dive in from the Shiv, slices through, pockets down. It's Adriano out of commission. TP from the Mirage as well. Readjustment round over towards York. Quick chase on the Abrams. Eric, he's about to be sandwiched between 4 of them.
It is pretty painful. Absolutely. The Dynamo is able to grab that urn off the back of them. But again, it's not likely that Revival is going to allow this to happen. Interesting maneuver from Eric Pritz. I don't know if that tornado strike actually cancelled it. Up and down on the ropes. And Eric Pritz is lost in the warehouses. In comes Solar Hound, but that ground strike is not doing much damage whatsoever here to Grave. But he's going to have to get out of the way here.
Ooh, knock up into the singularity. Hello. He's calling for the rotate. The combustion goes up. You get nothing from it. It stuns around the corner to at least slow down the rotate. But I mean, it might very well be an XD moment. Laughing all the way to the bank as he's survived this one. He's actually gotten out.
Yeah, escaped from that position there. I mean, I think they were able to get the urn in that moment, which is nice. But I think this is where, honestly, that's a big boy. That's a very big boy.
Oh, yeah. Chunky, like an overfed cat, running him down right now. Rundus in the meanwhile dies to the dot damage as he'll finally expire, and Viscous continues to roll. Ult expires, engage in the back from the Mirage though, the knock-up's good, quick shots onto the Abrams, low ammunition. Oh, even with the pop on the mark, it's not enough to finish him.
He's so incredibly low. All the while, though, Fickle Frog is making their way over to these walkers, doing a bunch of damage. Static charge applied, though, cancelled off with the stone form, which is nice, but difficult to get away from the Dynamo, who makes his way in. All the while, though, there is just a little bit of macro going on here from Revival to keep themselves in this one. Though that soul lead has definitely dwindled a little bit. The shenanigans with the urn didn't quite work out how they'd like, but they have certainly given the rest of the team time to farm up. I think the difficulty is that you're during all that, 7 on the side of 789 was just like, cool, I'll take the tier 3 camps then, I guess. 23k in the bank. Actually, the richest man inside the lobby here is Dartien.
Yeah, stacking the gold bars. And obviously late game as well. That's where you're going to be able to strike and potentially hit even harder if they do allow him to continue basically just pathing around and cleaning up farm whilst he's not needed elsewhere, hoovering up all the jungle camps bit by bit. Yeah, Eric as well potentially in a position to be spotted if they do push deep. They're looking to actually gamble on taking this walker now. Eric's there. Maybe he'll have choice words for them. It's the engage from the Mirage. Early chip damage. Potentially the engage here for the full commit. Wants to dive in, focusing the damage dump on the actual walker itself. Wrap over from the 7. Here's Dartien. Look at the size of those charges.
Yeah, I think that's the power of the 7, though, or at least a rich 7, is that in any case, he can become a bit of a problem just solo with the amount of damage that charge does. Gooper using. This is crazy. Actually, I really like the usage of Warpstone here, especially even more encapsulated by the fact that he's so huge now that you can have a little bit of mistakes with the Warpstone and it not really matter all that much because the hitbox is so large for that stun. But yeah, that's something where actually with the help of Puddle Punch and some quick maneuvers, I would be surprised to see Goover actually be able to knock Dartien out the sky.
And to be fair, at one point here, you know, Revival, it's always felt like they've been ahead with the right steps, the right moves over the course of the game, putting one foot in front of the other nicely. We did have a few moments where, at least in terms of the overall real power spike with souls, things balanced out a little bit. But for Revival now, you're straight back to soaring again, climbing the way back up. 127k to 111. Lovely number, but not really going to do enough for them at this point. Behind in the kills, AP starting to build up as well for Revival, and it gets a whole lot more worrying with the amount of map control they freely had over the course of this. Still one Guardian in play, whereas on the flip side of things, it's just a Walker. That's all that's left. Following that, base Guardians looking a little bit rattled. Yeah, it's certainly not the dream scenario 20 minutes in for 789.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that the urn pickup from earlier definitely allowed them to do, is because they were a little bit preoccupied with picking that up that urn. That the map presence through from Revival was very good, and that kind of play disorientates a lot of squads if you're not careful, especially behind. Knockdown in play, escaped by the enchanted satchel. Adriano will get back out there, and Kyo comes in. In the meantime, though, on this full engage, you are just going to see Fickle Frog pick themselves up the urn and start to run this one back again. Because they are 10% ahead, this is nowhere near in their favor, but they really do not want 789 to be picking that one up. Eric Pritz feels fairly squishy, honestly, for an Abrams.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough day. He's had some unfortunate moments on the Abrams, mate, in terms of getting himself activated into the games. You know, early into the first opening BO1, it was a bit rough for him here as well. You're starting to get penalised and targeted a bit. And some of the big game players are being farmed up a whole lot more as well. So damage output certainly starting to soar now for Revival. Mirage basically freely taking walkers. all on his Todd. And there's a fight at the warehouse in response because of it. Geist going to be stunned, and you'd imagine taken down.
Oh, no.
Does get the quick ult off for the snatch, though. That's what you want to see. Geist with a hellish comeback on that one.
That is horrendous. Flies a little bit too close to the Geist and ripped all that life away. In the meantime, that is the earned swing towards Revival inside of their warehouse too. That feels bad here for 789. And almost a full squad wipe on that side. 789 going down to just the one player. And realistically, that's purely because the Abrams went down early and was staggered. So essentially, that's just a massively successful fight. They're going to back out. Actually, I think with the time remaining, they may even be able to get mid-boss off the back of this, potentially. Oh, maybe they're just going... I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure what the next move is here. Because I would have thought that they try and burn the patron.
Was that like a Candle Trooper conga line? Those guys just...
It was.
Yeah, they're just enjoying themselves.
Yeah, it was good.
Got a little pina coladas and some straw hats in the back.
Yeah, taking their turns on the walker.
Yeah.
That's the pinata in this situation. Everyone gets a whack.
I mean, they've respawned back in, but timing's rough on it, really. Let's see if they do want to go for anything special here. Okay, there's the engage. Pocket over the top. Does go in to get the damage off. It's a hell of a dot, but of course it's about following up from that, and with no real room to convert and everyone else falling over like flies, it's going to go so wrong so damn quickly. Now, not only have they got rejuve, but they basically full house wiped the entire team as well. You should be on course for some deep pushes here. Most of the lanes being pushed deep in, at least towards the base. It's going to buy you a couple seconds, but they can just death ball in, take a lane, and focus on trying to dump damage on the patron.
Yeah, I mean, with 20 seconds left on the clock, there's actually a case here where if Revival can find another pickup versus 789, there is a world where this game just ends right here and now with the presence that they can get set up here. The only difficulty is some of the players have gone quite low early. Again, that is Dartian putting out a lot of damage, but look how quickly this thing's going to go down. There's no Dynamo ult either, and that's the kicker, Jackie.
Yeah, it's over at this point. Nothing more to be said or done on this one. They figure out their answer and will pick up the game.